The sun had just risen over the African horizon, painting the farmlands near Kruger National Park in shades of gold. David Miller, a weathered farmer, returned to his land after a week's much-needed rest. His old excavator stood silently by the edge of the field. In the distance, the border of Kruger's wild reserve shimmered in the heat. He had one goal that day: to dig a trench for a new fence, a barrier to protect his livestock from wandering wildlife. The excavator's bucket bit into the soil, lifting heavy scoops and tossing them to the side. The only sounds were the thud of metal against turf and the whisper of wind over the dry fields. In the midst of the steady rhythm of digging, a sound reached him faint, almost drowned by the engine's hum. He froze. It was softer, sadder, a tired trumpet, like an echo from a distant bird. He cut the engine. Heart pounding, David climbed down and stepped to the trench's edge. His eyes scanned the dusty bottom. There, half buried in dry soil, was a baby elephant. Its small body was caked in mud and dust. Ears drooped lifelessly. Its tiny trunk shifted only slightly, searching for air. The calf was thin, trembling, breathing in short, desperate bursts. It must have been trapped for days without food or water. The calf let out a faint, heartbreaking squeak. He pulled his phone from his pocket and called the Kruger Rangers. His voice cracked as he described the calf's condition. The reply was calm but urgent: they'd be there in 30 minutes. Hanging up, David took off his jacket and climbed closer, holding it above the calf to shield it from the merciless sun. Each tiny trumpet pierced him with guilt. He thought of the week he'd been away, leaving this trench open. If only he'd been here sooner. Then, in the distance, the sound of a vehicle. Relief surged through him as two rangers, Samuel Kumalo and Jacob Lumini, stepped out carrying a rescue kit. Samuel knelt to feel the calf's heartbeat. His brow furrowed at the dehydration. Jacob quietly shook his head. No sedation was needed. The calf was too weak to resist. They moved quickly. Ropes and thick cloth were ready. Every movement was deliberate. Samuel cradled its chest. Jacob supported its hind legs. And David steadied the rope. Slowly, painfully, they hauled the small, exhausted body up and out of the trench. With practiced care, they lifted it into the truck and sped toward the nearest wildlife veterinary station. There, bright lights illuminated the calf's frail frame. The veterinary team moved in, instantly checking vitals, setting up if fluids. The diagnosis was grim: severe dehydration, extreme exhaustion, days without nourishment. Every drip from the fluid bag felt like a lifeline. That first day, the calf lay still, eyes closed, breath shallow. Vets and nurses took turns through the night, monitoring every flicker of life. By the second day, the calf's breathing eased. On the third, it sipped water and nibbled soft greens. By the end of the week, it was standing, taking hesitant steps in its pen. The vets decided it was ready to leave intensive care and move to a semi-wild enclosure. There, the calf began learning to be wild again. Then the day came when they decided to bring it back to the wild. The calf was calm as understanding and didn't show resistance when climbed in the jeep. When they reached the place where it fell entrenched, to their amazement, it was welcomed by its brothers. They were confronted by something amazing. Calf's mother walked towards them as a gesture of gratitude in its eyes, as saying thank you. David, Samuel, and Jacob watched in silence, smiles breaking across their faces. Sometimes miracles happen because someone stops, listens, and chooses to care.